Watch the ride.
Welcome to the Spice 110 Motorcycle Review Marathon Series. When I review a bike for an extended amount of time, I make several videos. What I'm doing in this series is taking all those videos and putting them back to back so you can watch them in one sitting. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to help support this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, links in the description. Also, if you'd like to see some reviews that don't have multiple videos, just one, check out my Motorcycle Reviews playlist. Enjoy! Hey everybody, it's with thanks to English Electric Motor Co once again that I have a new bike to review. Obviously I've just done the Zero FXE, which is the 11 kilowatt, newer 13 sort of grand on-road supermoto version of the FXS that used to exist. This is the FX, this is the Enduro style, this is the A2 legal one. Yes, this has got full power. I've only done a few miles to get here and I kept it slow so I can see the difference on camera. But yeah, this is again going to be a lot of fun, and with this one being Enduro style, you can be sure I'm going to find the hardest green lanes I can around here. So yeah, the FX is the full powered version of the FXS that I had before, so that was a CBT legal 11 kilowatt bike. This is a A2 legal. The only obviously concern is that if this has got more power, is it going to get less range? And I guess the answer to that is invariably yes. I think they do like a 14.4 version of this bike, which has got like 2 batteries in it opposed to the 1. But that's working on some memories from the past. I'm not sure if that's still relevant. Probably is. Seems to be something that they get in America. I actually do have a purpose for this trip, which is I need to go to Portsmouth. One of Reno's fish tanks pump has gone up the creek, so it needs to get a replacement. So this is the perfect opportunity to try it as a commuter on the motorway. As a first ride, this actually is a great little route, because also obviously end up in the city. We'll see about range. Because having used the FXE quite a bit and been to Portsmouth a few times with it, I think I'm going to know the difference like when I get home as to whether it's like, oh, that's a lot less, or whether it's not so different. Obviously, between having the FXE and the FX, I've been riding my own bikes. If you're new to the channel, hey, I normally ride a Yamaha XJ6 Diversion and a Suzuki DRZ 400 SM, which is actually a 440, but whatever. It's a supermoto, so I'm very much into my supermotos, and I've said I absolutely love these electrics. And I will say that when I went from the FXE back to my DR, I had a slightly strange feeling of like, this actually feels a bit old school. Like I know it's like, there's grease all over it here and there, it needs to warm up, and there's loads of just finicky things about it, and it started to feel like a steam train to an electric train. But it's the feeling I got between the supermotos is interesting. Right, eco mode. But it's still quick. Custom mode. Sport mode. Of course, it's very difficult to tell if this, feels like it has a lot more power without doing a direct comparison. It's been quite a few days since I had the FXE working. Oh, okay. I think it is noticeable. Obviously, 21-inch rim makes it feel a bit different, but it actually turns really, really nice with it. Of course, as with all the electric bikes when I review them, I just ride them like I'd ride a petrol, because that's the comparison that people want to make, not, how many miles can you eke out. I will get to that maybe, in a later video, and I've done it with previous bikes. The FXS I did that with. But I think people want to ride these for the benefits, for that grunt and power, so you're going to kind of want to know what sort of mileage you're going to get with that use of grunt and power. I'm also noticing this is a tall bike. It feels taller than the FXE. I might be wrong on that, but I'm noticing that I'm almost straight-legged on this, so it's a little bit lower than my DRZ, because with that I'm like straight up, and it's ridiculous how tall that bike is. But I'm tall, so it works out. Again, if you're new to the channel, I'm 6'4", so don't think this is a child's bike. Someone recently said that the FXE was a child's bike, and I'm like, it's nearly as big as a DRZ. It's not small. I just make big things look small. So obviously, with this being a more off-road orientated bike, I am planning to take this green laning, as I did with the FXE, but onto some slightly more intense lanes. So if you remember when I hit 100k, I said I'm going to do a few old favourites to celebrate hitting 100k. Well, I was going to go back to Nemesis Hill. If you don't know what Nemesis Hill is, it's a very steep hill that I managed to get a few different 125s up, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to take an electric up it? Well, unfortunately they closed the lane, so I can't do that. So I'm going to try and find the most intense bits of the ones that are left and do all of those. Well, at least we're in the city for a good city test. I'm in an eco, and I can say for sure that this has definitely got enough pep to, pull you out of places. I've just noticed this bike says it's got 68 miles. I didn't think it was new. So unless that's showing a trip and I'm not realising it, this might actually be another brand spanking new one. Oh God, don't scratch it. Well, that was refreshing. I'm going to have to give a massive shout to Maidenhead Aquatics in Southsea. Basically, Reno, my other half, who has a couple of fish tanks, had a problem with one of the pumps. And I have a problem because I haven't turned this bike on. Had a problem with one of the pumps on a tank, and we thought it had gone finally because it's ancient. So I went in there and said, yeah, I think this pump has gone. I know it's really old, so if we can't find a replacement pump, we have to do our whole new housing and stuff, and a whole new fuel system. We can do that, it's not a problem. Which gave him the primed opportunity to turn around and just go, fine, I'll sell you this. He went, well, hang on a minute, mate, let's have a look at this one. Tried a few things and then realised that you could pull, well, I didn't realise this, he knew this, you could pull the centre of the pump out. I didn't realise that one did it as well. I knew the other one kind of did it, but it didn't look like that one did. Well, anyway, sure enough, he took it apart, cleaned it, and it's now working perfectly. He could have so easily sold us a new filter, and he didn't. That level of honesty and helpfulness is well, it's the reason they're probably going to be doing well for a long time, because people will keep going back to them, and then people like me who have experiences like that with them are going to say, hey, if you want some fish stuff, if you want some honest advice from some peoples, and they've got a huge range of things in there, them. Thank you, mate, appreciate that. That was unusually honest. Well, all that's left for me now is to leave the city and have a bit of fun on the way home. I've still got 70% charge on this. That's pretty impressive. Doesn't seem to be affecting the range, but then I probably haven't used much of that extra power available to me because I've been stuck. Could you just give me more than half an inch? It would be really nice. If I start swinging a sledgehammer around your face, you're probably going to have an issue with it. But people in cars don't mind swinging them at bikers, so they just don't realise we're human beings. They don't see us as a human being. They don't see us as a squidgy thing that if you just get it wrong and you clip us, we're really hurt. Of course, by this point in the video, most people who just hate electrics and are commenting on that and then leaving are gone. I have to say, it is very tiring to have to deal with the same comments every single time you make a video on an electric bike. Oh, it's too expensive, it's too this, it's not that. People don't make the same comparisons with petrol bikes. You don't see people saying, oh, I'm not going to watch Top Gear because I couldn't possibly afford one of the £300,000-400,000 cars that's on there. I'm referring to old Top Gear, obviously no one watches the new one. It's something innately built into people to want to fight against electric bikes, and I don't understand it. I just don't. You can argue that this is beneficial for the environment and that's not beneficial for the environment, and this is good and this is bad and blah blah. You can do that with any product that exists, but unlike every other product that I have ever reviewed, I don't have to normally deal with people going down to the supply chain structure. People say about, oh, well, think about the lithium mines. Think about the lithium mines. Do you think about the lithium mines for your phone, watch, laptop, torch, sex toy, hair clippers, beard trimmer? I can go on and on and on. Put your foot to the floor because you need to go more. Do. Oh, it's electric v's electric. See you, sucker. no! Electric Mini, you got done over by a Merc! I know I'm going to start eating the battery now, but this is what I did on the FXE, so I need to do it on this too. You know, it's a hard life, but someone's got to do it. Thanks to my patrons. I love my life. Whee! Don't crush me to death, please! Oh no! Mr. Seagull! You are squished! It's Stephen Squidgull, Stephen Squeezegull, Stephen Flatgull, Stephen Stinkgull. Yeah, bye. Okay, I'm going to say you can't really notice the difference in power with a bigger one. I mean, I feel like for a moment, like there's this extra amount of pull, but that goes away, and it does slow down as it gets above 70. It feels very much like the 11 kilowatt. So, you know, what Alec from English Electric said to me was you probably won't notice the difference between the two. It's not as grand as it would seem on paper. And he's right, it doesn't feel that way at all. It's still more than enough. Although for people on petrols, are used to a lot of grunt at 80. Yeah, you're basically running out at that point. There's nothing left really. Okay, this does feel different to the FXE, obviously, because we're dealing with larger wheels and thinner tyres, but it's actually making it feel a little lighter and a little more agile, maybe, or maybe just a bit more comfortable in turns. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see over time. Also, I don't know why, but I'm getting super Tomb Raider vibes from this bike. Like I've seen this bike in a Tomb Raider game or something very similar to it. It's something about this like, you know, military tan almost. It's almost like a desert tan, but it's like a whitish desert tan. Just makes me think of Tomb Raider. Maybe I know there's some bikes in Tomb Raider. Is one of them this colour, and maybe it's just that? I'm now down to 54%. It did just eat 16-17% of my battery coming back on the motorway, but I was not hanging around, so I'm totally understanding to that. Okay, well I'm back on the island and I've got 50% charge still. That is perfectly in line with what I would have had with the FXE. So the extra power it's not as noticeable as I was expecting, as Alex said it would be, and it's actually not having that much of a dramatic effect on the performance of the battery, the range. So far I don't know if I prefer it to the FXE. Maybe I do. Maybe I really do like this light turning with this larger front wheel. It does make it feel a bit more like my DR. You know, it's a bit lighter up front. Although at the same time, I don't know. I'm just going to have to ride it more, get used to it more, and then I can start sort of giving my opinion on it. But the idea of trying to pick between this and the FXE is now quite complicated. Oh God, these things are Larry. Question is, in sand, isn't electric more controllable because you're not having to balance the throttle and stuff? And it does seem, yeah. You know, when you're riding through sand or gravel, and I've done it a million times on different bikes, on this literal sand here, which is quite deep, you have to feather the throttle and the clutch, and you have to kind of like, you know, get used to where it wants to be as you slip the wheel. This, you just apply throttle as you need it. It's easy. It's easy. Yeah, this is what I want to do a bit more of, some off-roading, have a bit of explore, take some more serious lanes. I'm going to take that one that is quite steep and very, very grass-filled, most likely, that I took let's go this way. I took a 125cc scooter down once, a moped. I had to drag that thing through a lot of it. Well, there we go. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button. As I say, I've got more content coming on this bike and I'm going to do lots of different things with it, but I don't want to get into the whole, the continued argument everyone has about electrics every time I get an electric. I just want to have fun on this thing, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to review it for what it is, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to have a lot of fun on it. Anyway, until the next one, bye-bye. Hey everybody, I'm out on the Zero FX I've got on loan from English Electric Motor Company to make some videos and a review on. I already have my first ride out on this, but today I want to talk about a question that was posed to me the other day to do with electrics and licenses, which was a really interesting point I hadn't considered. Now I must apologise here, I can't actually remember whether I saw it on like Discord or a YouTube comment or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or any of these different places that people, comment to me or message to me. So apologies that I can't remember your name. However, the question was quite simple, and it was like, what's going to happen with motorcycle licenses in the future when everything's electric? If everything turns electric as is the current plan. Because, obviously, at this point in time, and likely to be in the future, electrics are twist and go. There is no gears. There's that Cobra that made noise the other day in a video. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you took your CBT on a manual or an auto, you still can ride either. However, when it comes to the full licenses, like the A1, the A2 and the full A, my God, they're actually going to give me right of way. Thank you, my friend. You are restricted to whatever you took the test on. So if you take the A1 or A2 or A license on an auto, which is possible to do, you get an auto license just like with a car. So obviously the question is everyone in the future going to have to arbitrarily learn how to ride a manual to ride an electric to not have a restricted license? And I guess the answer at the moment would be, well, yeah, they would have to do that because there isn't an alternative. I mean, if you only want to use an auto, then there you go, no problem. But I don't know how many schools actually do have bikes for learning on an auto. I think I get asked that a lot. I mean, I've always said, if you're going to get your full license, you're paying the money, learn to use gears and get it unrestricted and be free to use whatever you want in the future. You can still get an auto, but at least you've got the skills of using a manual should you want to. Oh no, there's no gap for you there, mate. But I tried. There's a reason that petrols don't have gearboxes. They don't need them, and it's better that they don't, because any connection, any linkage, any gear train, change of direction, anything like that off that main motor is a loss in efficiency. Could you indicate? No, you couldn't, could you? So to put a manual gearbox on an electric would not make any sense. You'd only be throwing power away. I so belong in this gang. Ooh, fruity. I've also got a Ducati Paninkali behind me. This is a brilliant lineup. Sorry, I'm totally off my subject here. But yeah, you can see the issue. Like, what are we going to do about that in the future? I mean, if everything's electric, then it's not a problem. I mean, maybe it's just going to be as simple as the way it currently is. If you want to ride the old school petrol bikes, that are manuals, you'll have to take that test and learn on the full auto, the full manuals. And if you only want to use an electric, that's what their idea in the future will be. Well, then you just do it on an electric, in which case it will be an auto license. Of course, you can always open this up a little bit. A lot of people aren't, wow, that's definitely not the lane you take for this one, mate. How long before they do something else stupid? Not long. They won't indicate for the roundabout because this sort of person just wouldn't. and then pulled out in front of a van. Or a truck, even. Wow. Just wow. It's one of the undeniable things about electrics, you know, the fact they don't have gearboxes, and I do miss a gearbox, and there is something, you know, there's something very visceral about you changing the gears on a bike and then changing down the gears. I mean, I've done videos talking about how I really believe you should change down the gears to slow down, but that's not what the doctrine always is. You know, yeah, people say, you know, it's the power's so linear, it just goes in every gear, it's always got power. That's the really good thing, right? Well, that's got this too, but you don't change gear, so it's quicker. Of course, it will be different for different people, but as I've said, I've found enjoyment riding these bikes. I actually find it a proper laugh, because they're a giggle. You know, they're absolutely mentally quick off the line, but then they're not that much top end, so it's almost like the ultimate 125. You know, it's got all the fun, but with not many of the drawbacks. This can do 70 miles an hour, for instance. Okay, admittedly, that's going to eat your battery, but, you know, drop it down to like 55 like you probably would in a 125, and now you've got much better fuel, well, for your energy economy. But I can totally understand for some people at the moment, they're just going to be like, no, I'm not interested. And I get that. As I've said, I want to discuss these things, but people seem to think that I'm trying to convince them to buy an electric. I'm not. I'm just giving my experience of using them and saying, yeah, I really enjoy it. And then you get people going, I'm never getting electric, it doesn't matter what you say. Okay. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying I like it. I'm saying I'm enjoying it. However, I will say this. I was watching some of the Goodwood Festival Speed hill climb laps, and some of the fastest cars that have ever been around or up the Goodwood hill climb have been electrics, which, you know, just shows how good they can be performance-wise. You know, they've only been here a few years and they're already taking the top spots over old F1 cars and God knows what. You know, they've got pretty much everything you could throw at it, and electrics are proving to be quite a lot faster. Hurry up! Hurry up! Wow! Come on, peasant, get out of my way! Sorry, sidetracked again. Yeah, I was watching some of the laps, and when it's an electric car, it's a bit boring. You know, in the sense that there's no engine noise. It seems somehow lost and empty. And it just got me thinking, you know, like when there's going to be electric motor racing in the future, what are they going to do to keep the excitement there? I mean, if there's many cars, or maybe if they have onboard sound or something like that, you're going to have something to cover, you know. But imagine watching Formula 1 with the sound off. Alright, imagine watching Formula 1 with the sound off in the 90s when they sounded good. You wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't. I'm very much getting sidetracked here, so let's call an end to this video. But yeah, let me know what you would think on those things. And, you know, motorsport, electric motorsport, the lack of sound in it. So on the road, for me, I don't think it matters so much, because I've got the, you know, the exhilaration of being here, and I can hear it, and I can feel the motor, and it's, you know, it's enough. But when you're watching something else, it's kind of like, nah. Having said that, I think, was it the Volkswagen electric car? The noises that makes, it sounds like it's running on squished squirrels. It's brilliant. I love it. Anyway, as I say, let me know what you think on this one. Smack the like button if you've enjoyed it. If you want to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon, links in the description. A massive, massive thanks to my patrons as always. And again, the little boost to people that recently joined, thank you. Again, I don't know why you're all suddenly now deciding to jump on board, but I'm not complaining. Thank you so very much. Catch you next time. Hey everybody. Okay, so today's plan is not going as planned. I was going to take the Zero FX that I've got on loan from English Electric greenlaning, with all the cameras and everything, but as you can see, we have a summer storm of some sort coming through, which means my 360 camera will look really dingy. And where I was planning to go was the highest point around here where, well, I just hope we don't get a full charge really quickly, if you know what I mean. So I am going to redo this in the week when it's nice and sunny and I can really sort of explore and spend time enjoying. This is going to be the accelerated version where I just try and get through it without getting too wet. So yeah, I've got this FX on loan from English Electric to make some videos and a review on. Oh god, I wish I could see the track better. This is actually getting pretty dark now. Thank you! Well, if we're getting wet, might as well get wet, right? And someone has fly tips down here. And what have they fly? That's asbestos, isn't it? Isn't that asbestos roofing? That corrugated stuff? Is that the license plate that's rattling that much? Is there some way of me holding on to at the same time? It seems like it is. Oh God, you should be so careful of the throttle. This thing's got so much torque. Just touch the throttle. Oh yeah, sorry. To get here, I'm going to try to do some maths. So, I started today on 151. We're now at 163 with 85% of the battery remaining. Yeah, as I say, I'm going to do this as a kind of a speed run, and I'm going to explore more on a nice day when it's sunny and I can try different stuff. But there was no way that I was coming this far and then not actually, you know, going. Do I trust the rear brake on this one? Yeah, it kind of works. Oh God. Let's try going down a bit further so we can get some flatter ground. Of course, to you, this probably looks actually flat. Trust me, it's bloody well not. No, come on. Rear brake. Oh God, the chalk's wet now. Well, it's only going to get worse, so you might as well just get down it, eh? Trail the rear. Oh my God! Yeah, hopefully these trees are offer some reasonable protection. Or not. No. It was better up there. There was another track I was planning to go up today, but if it's going to be this wet, there is no way I'm going to be able to do it, because it's just, this bike is 12 and a bit grand, and it's got less than 200 miles on the clock. I really can't break this thing. It's bad enough doing what I'm doing already. Oh God, stripping down my back. I think it might be stopping. As you can tell, it rained quite a bit, because it's now flooded in the road. I turned the camera off and just waited here for a few minutes. Oh, that was a lot of mud in the face. Hopefully it wasn't on your lens. This will be the problem though, it won't be a very great viewing if it's actually raining while I'm riding. That's why I tried to wait out the rain. I'm not really fussed about getting wet, I'm going to get wet anyway. When I knew there was a little rainstorm coming later on, this seems quite a bit bigger and a number of hours early. I can't see a lot right now because I'm steamed up, rained up, and now the gravel and the dirt and the mud that you get deposited on these roads is now dark, like the road, as will be the green algae, and you have to be really bloody careful because you're not sure which bit's slippery and which bit's not so slippery. Well, I hope you're bloody well enjoying this because I'm freezing. And if you are, please hit that like button. Or even better, support me. I know, for this sort of level of stuff, support me on Patreon. Go on. Oh, Jesus, mate. They are honestly lunatics around here. If I see a single dry piece of tarmac somewhere, I'm going to sit on it. Because it means I'll be dry. Oh, this is nasty. Why am I doing this? I am so exposed on this bit. I would really love some tree cover just for a minute. Oh my god, it's running into my boots. Oh, this bit's dry. Oh. Okay, I think waiting might have been a better idea. The whole idea of being like warm and having multiple cameras on and exploring different lanes and stopping and taking pictures and nice views, this is all I had planned. This is just suffering. For your entertainment. I really can't see a lot, but you know, aim for the middle bit, right? Oh, I'm out of the green lane. I think under the trees it might be better. Oh yeah, check the rear brake. Okay, that didn't lock up at all. That's pretty impressive. Obviously, I've actually got medium off-road tyres. I mean, they're not off-road tyres, they're like intermediates, but it should give me a little bit more grip. Come on, I want to do this well, not as quick as possible, but I don't want to be in this rain as long. Ow, I can't even talk. I don't want to be in this rain longer than I need to. Until I'm concentrating. Is that a tree across the track? It is. That snap? I guess it did snap. Go! See what I mean about the power? Do they know I'm here, or are they purposely ignoring me? Excuse me, can I just get pie? Thank you. Thank you very much. Remember what the price of this bike is. But it's good. You touch the throttle. Oh, this is actually really good fun. Even at reasonable speeds. I mean, okay, I'm only doing 20 odd, but the lammies. I'll leave them alone so they don't get out of the shelter. Oh, look at the little sheepies. Hello, little sheepies. Oh, you're cute. Look at his little face. You can't see him. Hello. You are very small. Fluffy. Reno would like you a lot. Oh, Christ! Oh, has it stopped raining yet? No. I don't know where you're going. Really? You don't think you are? I want to watch this. Wait, wait for the brake lights. And they've stopped. Yes, mate, it's a green lane. Well, we can't see anything from up here anyway. Let's go back that way. Well, I'm going to call that mission accomplished because there is no point going to the top of Butser Hill to film anything. I had a whole plan to do something that was going to look really, really cool. And I'm not going to let you know any of the things I have planned for this video. I'm going to do it, well, other than what I've already said. Regrets. I have a few. And then again, let me list them. Leaving the house. This bloody rain. The fact there's no sun. And I'm wet again. Watch out, Skrill. What's that? Is that a green lane? No. I don't think so. London Phaser Rider on my Discord said, oh, it's raining tomorrow, and I'm like, no, it's not. And I knew he was right, but I didn't think it would be this bad, and I thought I might get lucky. I did not get lucky! I feel semi-aquatic now. I think I might spring some gills in a minute. Ow, ow, ow. How is rain sharp? I guess it's because it's cold, it's the reality of it. Is there anywhere around here that a weary traveller can try and get out of the rain for 5 minutes? I'm very interested in your cars. Oh. Okay, I'm cold. Okay, well, sit rep. We're at 174 miles, starting at 151 today, and we've got 69% of the power remaining. Giggity. But I did it. I didn't chicken out. I went bloody green laning. Barely see a thing, but I'm running south for the border. I mean, the plus side, in theory, this rain should wash the bike off so it won't be covered in mud by the time I get home. I also didn't get a thumbnail anywhere, but then I couldn't because I couldn't get my bloody phone out to just use the wet hands on it. It's quite a good tyre test, actually. I've been pushing these intermediates. You know, I've pushed them in dry, hot roads, wet roads like this. I mean, I'm not really pushing them, but you know, on the lanes, and they're doing great. I will say, on hot, dry roads, you can feel them slipping a little bit, but it's quite predictable levels of slippage, and it's actually quite fun levels of slippage. Oh God, save me! Oh yeah, that tree fell down. Here's a big mamma jamma. If it's actually raining on the island where I live, then screw you, Met Office, because you have not given any forecast for this whatsoever. Other people around the country got it, but I didn't. It's getting heavier. Are you kidding me? I am so done with today. Oh. Done 31 miles and we've used 55% of our battery. That includes going all the way up to the almost the top of Butser Hill and back down. That is pretty damn impressive. I look forward to repeating it and going down all the routes I wanted to go in the sunshine on a nice day with multiple cameras, not water all over the lens and me moaning about the rain. But as I say, if you enjoyed it, smack the like button. Please protect me. Please support me through Patreon, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye. Hey everybody, you join me in the lovely countryside. I'm out on the Zero FX that I have on loan from English Electric to do some videos and a review on. I've got it for a couple of weeks. It's actually a little bit over a couple of weeks, I think. I got quite lucky with this one. I've already been green laning, as you've seen on my channel, and I got drenched. It was a rainstorm. Well, we've got more rain coming, and there is a slightly more advanced green lane I'd like to try out on this. So I'm going to just do it now. Okay, I started the day on 223 miles. And I have 241 now, so that's 18 miles covered, and I have 76% of my battery remaining. I did kind of go up and over Butser Hill, which is nearly 1,000 metres tall, or is it feet? So that's actually not too bad. I was an eco, but it was perfectly quick enough. Now I'm in sport because I need the power. Let's go. Now, at the beginning of this road, it says no through road for motor vehicles. Well, maybe for the big ones, but not the little ones like this. It's already muddy. I haven't been up here for a few years. I have brought a few different bikes up and down this. The funniest one, I suppose, bringing down it was a 125cc scooter. Okay, so basically on a ride along this hedge line all the way up to the top of there, and it gets pretty steep in the middle. But yeah. This is very, very different to doing this on a petrol. It's so much calmer and more serene. You know, you haven't got the heat of the bike and the noise of the engine scaring all the animals off. I feel like I'm being like a countryside ninja. Now, I have a rut to run in. Well, I actually have two ruts. And I don't want to choose the one that puts me through the bush. This is a green lane, if you're wondering. Byway open to all traffic. One of the few that are left around here that haven't been closed. Because, they've put temporary closures on a couple of them. I will say one of them doesn't show up on the maps as being temporary closed at the moment, and I'm wondering whether that was actually the owner that decided to make their own sign and try and close it themselves, as they do love to do. What is this? That's a bit of a quad bike if I've ever seen one. Ow. Of course I haven't got... Whoa! That bramble went under the front wheel and then got caught under my foot and wrenched my foot off. I was about to say, I haven't got handguards, which is something I'd miss, pushing through bushes, because although, okay, this hasn't got a clutch, it's still got a front brake, and if the bush grabs that front brake, well, it's a problem. Look, I cannot actually turn. I have to just live in this 6-8 inch rut. Pigeon! God, so many flies. Brambles. I don't think many people have been down here since COVID and all, so it's a little more overgrown. There are so many free flies. Stop getting in my face. Ow! Why isn't the rut in the middle? No, that is the width of a quad, isn't it? Okay, right, well I don't... Oh, Jesus. I don't like quads anymore. Right, come on. You're light. Get out of this rut and get on that one. Oh, we're crabbing. We're crabbing. We always end up crabbing. I've never done it on electric, though. This is where it starts getting a little steeper. It's chalk, so it is a bit slippery. Oh, this bit ain't too bad. Options. Routes or through the gully? Through the gully. Okay, that's just silly easy. You know, you're not having to balance the throttle or stop the engine from stalling or anything like that. And you can put on very fine amounts of throttle as needed to stop it from slipping. This sort of electric off-roading it's kind of cheating. I mean, this is wet chalk. Oh well, this wasn't nearly as bad as I remember. This was just fun. Sheepies! Not interested to say hello? Yeah! Hello to you too! Bye-bye. Let's just look at the clouds. Looks alright. I kind of had a plan or something I wanted to do the other day, so we're going to go and do that up there on the top of the hill, and then we'll come back down the lanes, probably down that one. We'll see. I've got other ones to go to as well. Up. There's no thunderclouds in the sky, right? That's the thing I'm most concerned about. You'll see why. Okay, so... do you remember my video, The World's Longest Selfie Stick? Longest selfie stick on the top of the tallest place around here? Might be interesting. So yeah, this is Butser Hill. This is the top of Butser Hill. And on the very, very top, because it is the tallest place around here, is, well, I'm guessing it's a phone mast and a radio mast and every other thing in the world mast. We're going for a 4. I can't remember what I did in my longest selfie stick video. Was it 5? Right, well, if I get struck by lightning, it was nice knowing you. I haven't heard any, and that thing's taller than me, and it's got a lightning conductor on it, so it should be all good. It also, oh god, don't snap. Okay, well we can go back down the hill on the other green lane, not the one we came up, the one we joined. Follow that all the way down, take that down to the next set of green lanes, and I think I'm going to try and take that at a different angle so I can go up it. Right, we've done 20 miles now, we have 71% of our battery remaining, so coming up that hill we used about 5% battery. Oh, it's starting to rain. Right, run from the rain! Who's been roosting up marks all over this? Hello, little lammy. You're very cute. You've got little eyebrows. Oh, he's so cute. I'm not going to hurt it. It's fine. Okay, I'll go now. You can relax. Bye-bye. That was cute. No rain. Oh, am I still in eco? Alright, we're green lane in eco and see what it's like. It's got plenty of grip. I suppose in a way it's almost like traction control, because it doesn't allow you to get that much torque. Oh look, you're the same one I met the other day and you were even closer. Oh, you're so cute. By the way, Reno did like you. Rear brake is fantastic. As I say, it's got ABS on it, and it just doesn't do that like thing. I'll just check. This is actually, yeah. More walkers. Can we? Okay, let's test that thing that happened with the walkers before. Are they going to hear me? They just heard me from that far away. There is no way those people the other day didn't know I was coming. Thank you! Are these beech trees? I think these are beech trees. Well, those ones over there aren't, but these ones, I think these are beech. I love... That's probably my favourite colour. Like, you know, people say, what's your favourite colour? It was one of my favourite colours. Like, I can't pick a favourite colour. I can give you a favourite version of each colour. Like, the green that you get through beech trees is just amazing. Well, we've got plenty of power left. Let's go and explore down this way and try and find our way back another route. I don't have the charging cable with me. I'm not fussed. I don't think... I'm not... You know, people go on about range anxiety with electrics. I don't really get it. And you'd think that this is the sort of trip that you'd really get range anxiety. I'm going up and down hill. I can't really judge where I'm going to be going, how far I'm going to go. I don't really know where I am. I kind of do. I think I can take another route back that way. I just realised I didn't mention what this was, and some of you might be asking. It's a Beeline sat-nav. I was sent this for a review a while ago, but I'm using it to check the speedo of the bike against the speedo of the GPS. The bike's saying I'm doing 30, and the GPS agrees. It's bang on. Okay, bike 43, GPS 42.3. Go 40, 48, 46.4. So it's pretty close, but there is a little bit of a difference. I was thinking that this thing was actually going faster than it was saying previously, but as it turns out, everyone was just going slow now. I guess people are trying to save on fuel. I know I am using these. Someone did ask me how much it cost to charge this. Now, previously, I think it was about 85p, but with the recent charge increase, I'm guessing it's about £1 and change to get a full charge, you know, 60, 80 mile charge for about half a litre of petrol. Do pheasants mind electrics? Mr. Pheasant? Mr. Pheasant! Now, if it on a petrol bike, would that have tried to embed itself into my face? It's the spooky woods. Where look, you could film like a Blair Witch Project in those woods. We've run out of biscuits. Someone took them all. They're coming for me. I've got some Garibaldi's. See, okay, we're up to 251 miles and 60% of the battery remaining. That is now starting to fall because I've got kind of bored of being gentle with the throttle, knowing I'm going back home kind of way. So I'm being a bit more enthusiastic with it, and I probably shouldn't do that for this test. But I'm probably still gonna. Oh, that's death. That is... Backing it up. Backing it up. Backing it up. Yeah, I can't reverse as fast as you. Do you want to wait a second? I've only got little legs. Death. Just going to let them go. Get some battery back. I did earlier on, I was on a massive hill and I just rolled down it like this, hoping I might see like 1% extra from the regen. Nah, don't think that's going to happen. It just reminds me of when the FXE stopped charging. I had this sudden thought. I was like, wait, if I put the FXE on a paddock stand and then I put the XJ6 on another paddock stand and I make their wheels touch together and then I just have the XJ6 spinning up, I will really inefficiently convert petrol into electrical power to allow me to ride the electric, right? That'd be perfect. I mean, the theory, it would work, but I don't know how long it would take to spin this wheel. I mean, maybe you could, you know, like attach this, if you live near a stream, like have a water wheel and have it turn the... I'm joking, this is not going to work. Another thing that I've had a few people say to me the past few days regarding electrics is that electrics have no soul. No. Slow ones, maybe. Ones like this is an eco mode, remember, are leery.
They are leery, they are fun. You want to make it make the whizzy noises. Horsey? Hello, horse. Can you see anything? I understand you don't like flies, but it would seem like the other ones aren't having such an issue. It's just like, what the hell is that? I can't see a thing! Oh, no, I went up the wrong one. Oh, man. Fine then, I'm going to go down it just to come back up it. Yeah, I wanted to come back up this one to see what it was like on Eco, so I'm going to have to go down it. I have a bit more confidence to go down this now, because I've been down it a couple of times, and I know what this rear brake's going to be like. The chalk is wet, yes, but I've got some semi-off-road tyres. Yeah. Right. Let's go back up this. In Eco. Oh. Thought that was a camera. It was not a camera, it's all good. Whee! Whoop, whoop. See, if this was my bike, and I wasn't worried about damaging it so much, and I had some handguards, I could get pretty quick on this thing, I think. Be interested to see how differently the petrol performs, because I have a couple of petrol bikes coming, and I'm going to be bringing them down here. Similar in size and style. Yeah. What the hell is that? God, the amount of flies that just went in my face in one go. Well, there we go. That was a proper little laugh. I was fully expecting that first lane to be a lot harder, but this bike is only about 130 kilos. It's got about 21 brake horsepower continuously and about 46 peak, if I remember the stats were right. So it's got plenty of torque where you need it. And with such finite control and you always being in the right gear because you don't have any, it's super easy. It really, really is. Okay, considering everything I've done, all the places that I've been, it's been 34 miles. I have 51% of my battery remaining. And now I'm back on normal roads and I can keep a consistent throttle point. I could actually get quite a decent extra amount of miles now because I'm on the flat as well. Right, we're now in Horndean. I don't think I've ever been in Horndean in a video before. Isn't that exciting? Nope. Okay, 60 on the bike, 59.6 on the GPS. It seems to sometimes be right and sometimes not. The bike seems more consistent than the bloody GPS is. I'm actually going to end this video here because, you know, I've done the green lanes. This is long enough as is. That was bloody fantastic and way better than I was expecting. I have to say, I'm impressed by how good the brakes on this are, considering it has only got, what's that, like a 280 rotor, something like that, 270. They're really, and a big wheel. They're really good. I'm now going to continue riding about a bit and just sort of see what mileage I get. Maybe I'll do another video, who knows. But if you enjoyed this one, smash that like button. Help support this channel on Patreon if you would. And I know I say that in every video, but if you hear me say it again and again, you're like, I keep meaning to do it. Because loads of other people have recently, and it's fantastic. It's so helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. I just realised I needed to do an update towards the end. So we started on 223, we're now on 269, giggity, and we have 36% of the battery remaining. I did go on some faster roads, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, things like that. So I did eat up quite a chunk of that battery. I wasn't being nearly as careful as I normally am, but I was in eco most of it. So yeah, I mean, as I say, I've still got 36% battery, which means I could easily ride back up there and do some of that green laning again. As I say, hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one. Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to my review of the Zero FX. I've had the Zero FX on loan from English Electric Motor Co for about 2-3 weeks, as it turns out, and it's just been for me to use it as my daily and produce a few videos and give a review at the end. Now, before I get into talking specifically about this bike, there is a few things I want to cover. The FX, the FXS, and the FXE are all very, very similar bikes. The FXE and the FXS are indeed Supermoto styles. This is the Enduro version. Of all of these bikes, there is a full powered version and an 11 kilowatt version available, depending on what country you're in. The 11 kilowatt versions are CBT legal. And for this one, which as I say is the full powered version, you're going to need an A2 license. However, the actual performance between the 11 kilowatt bikes and the full powered bikes is so small. I mean, I went straight from 11 kilowatt FXE to this, and maybe it's got a little bit more grunt just in the middle there, but it's hard to tell. It's not as big as a difference it looks on paper. Now, as I've said throughout all the videos when I review electrics, I'm reviewing this for an item that exists. I'm reviewing it for what it is and not for what it isn't. I don't want to get into all of the debates in the review about electric bikes, their pros and cons, all of that. So let's just say here that yes, this is an electric bike, and I have discussed electric bikes at significant length on different videos, talking about every single aspect there is to compare between internal combustion and electric, pretty much. So let's just put that aside. We can accept that this is an electric bike and it exists. We'll have to also do that for the price, because this bike is nearly 13 grand. That is expensive if you make a comparison to internal combustion engine bikes. However, if you make a comparison to electric bikes, it's not the end of the world, and it sits about the place it's probably should. Although we would like it to be cheaper. What I mean by that is the 125cc equivalents that cost £4,000-5,000. Those are very, very sluggish and slow. I mean, they're not sluggish and slow in the sense that they're completely unusable. They're just a lot slower. They're more like a 125 or even more like maybe 100cc, something like that. However, this is a lot more expensive, but it's got the build quality of a big bike, and it's also got the speed of about 400cc. 0 to 60, 5-ish seconds, something like that, depending on what your charge is at the time. Top speed is only around 85-ish, but that's kind of limited, and electric bikes aren't for flat-out speed, and certainly not this sort of bike. And then when you go above this in the electric market, you're talking things like the Zero SRF and SRS, and then you're going up to 20-something thousand pounds. So this is actually priced about where it is in the range, performance and build-wise. We will get out on the road in just a second, don't worry, but there's so much emotional baggage that comes along with electric bikes that people want to just fill the comments with. I want to try and address that, get out of the way before I go out and concentrate on the feel of what this bike actually is, what this thing is like to ride. Zero has obviously had some controversy aimed their way over recent months by many different people to do with their practices with their cipher system. Now, if you're not aware of what this is, go in to look into it. But basically, it's microtransactions on bikes to unlock extra features and things on those bikes. I've made my opinion completely clear on this side of things. I think, electrics currently are having an uphill battle, and Zero doing that is really just throwing a boulder in their own path. So you must be aware of that. However, to my understanding, Nothing on this bike is related to that system, so there is no microtransactions to unlock any of this. In fact, the only thing I've seen available with this bike is the quick charger. And the quick charger is actually a separate unit piece of equipment which you buy and you get. So it's not like something that came on the bike that you pay to unlock. So this bike is not involved in that whole system, though obviously Zero is, and there's my opinion on it. So we can also have the comments not filled with that argument. But yeah, in short, they shouldn't be doing that. Right, let me just show you the controls and the features of the bike, and then we're going to get out on the road and experience it. So the FX is set up with a 21-inch front wheel, a 20-inch rear wheel. We have ABS front and back. I will say the ABS system on the rear of this off-road is actually all right. It doesn't lock, stop, lock, stop, lock, stop. It's actually pretty good that you can lean on that rear brake and it will just come to a nice halt. If you really stamp on it, you can get a little bit of it, but it wasn't as pronounced as I noticed on the FXE. Not that that was bad, but again, that's a road-orientated machine. Front brakes on this, I will say now, are incredibly powerful for the size of the brakes that they are. That rotor is not huge, but I have been massively impressed by how powerful those brakes are with that size front wheel with me on it. I'm like 6'4", you know, so I'm not a small person on top of this bike, and those brakes stop it. The battery pack is in the middle here. This is the 7.2. Of course, looks are in the eye of the beholder, but I actually think that this looks quite cool. It's different, you know, it's very angular, it stands out, it looks like an electric, and for that reason, I like it. Obviously, your motor is in the middle here, and as I say, that is the same between the FXE, the FXS, the FX itself, and they are the same power, it's just how it's digitally tuned as to what you get. This uses a pulley on the front and a belt here and a massive pulley on the rear. One of the benefits of belts is they're very quiet. They last about something like 20,000-30,000 miles and they don't need so many adjustments. Okay, so we just turned it on here. Controls, we've got the high beam, low beam pass light. Your high beam, low beam switch is here. Your hazards is here. We've got the indicator and the horn. Oh, it's a cute little one. Kill switch, mode button to choose between Eco, Custom and Sport. Of course, the Eco gives you less torque, more miles. The Sport gives you lots of performance. And the Custom, you can get the app on your mobile phone, connect to the bike, and tell it to give you as much or as little power, torque as you want, and how much regen braking and regen on the motor you get in return. So you can really customize it to make it feel as you want. If you want to know more about that, watch my video on the FXE from a few weeks ago where I show how it basically has different modes, and you can make it like anything that you want. As I say, any sort of engine. It can be more like an inline 4, it can be more like a single cylinder. Since the FXS that I rode before, the FX has got the updated screen, the same as what's on the SRS and SRF, and that is a very nice screen and gives you all the information that you need, and it can be customised using the app again. So now the question, of course, we've covered all those other things, is what is the range of the FX like? Zero's claims are anywhere between 91 miles for the city and 40 miles for a motorway at 70 miles an hour flat out. Now obviously motorway miles, 70 mile an hour, the faster you go the more energy you use. If you reduce that down to 55 rather than 70, then you're going to get a lot more miles back. Electrics aren't good for top speed. However, for acceleration, for lightness and for handling, they're bloody great. Of course, those are the claimed figures by Zero. What have I experienced on this bike? Well, what I can tell you is this. In one day, I went from home up to the top of Butser Hill, which is one of the tallest hills around here. I did a lot of green laning. I then rode back through a couple of different villages. I then got back home. I'd covered 36, 37 miles. In that, I'd gone up at least 800, 900 feet in elevation once or twice, because I went from top to bottom a couple of times. And when I got home, I still had about 35% of my battery remaining, which would have meant that I could probably get, well, again, it depends on how I'm riding at the time. If I was in the town or city, then I might get an extra 20, 30 miles out of that. If I'm gonna, blast it up a motorway, well, then I'm maybe only gonna get 10 or 15 or something. It's tricky to know. Ergonomics. I'm 6'4" and I have no problems with this, because of the shape of the tank. My knees aren't in the way anywhere. You could be significantly taller than me and still be comfortable on this. The only thing about that though is the bump in the seat. It's got a little raised second section for the pillion seat part. For me, I'm right up against it. If you were much taller than me, you'd probably want to sit where it is, so you might need to refoam the seat or see if a different seat's available, but it's not a complex thing, and you could actually do that yourself for not a lot of money. Oh, probably shouldn't have done that, should have held back, otherwise I'm going to have to go through these corners really slowly. The handling on this thing, even these intermediate tyres, is absolutely fantastic. You know, without a motor giving you vibrations and stuff, you get all feedback through the tyres and through the brakes, and they've actually resurfaced this, and it's so smooth! There's nothing going on there. But then we're going to move here to the next, and now instantly I can feel the grittiness of the surface of the road, and then it goes smooth again, whereas on that little section, without the interference, you know, with the background noise of the vibrations of a petrol motor and all of that comes with that, you really get to have a different riding experience where you pay attention more to the road than the bike and more to the tyres, because you can feel and hear when they're losing grip. I say the brakes are absolutely great on this thing. It's just too good. It just feels, I have a DRZ 400 SM Supermoto, okay? This feels so much lighter, so much more agile and nimble. Quicker, in fact. I mean, it's a 440cc and it weighs about the same as this, but this just goes. The second you want the extra speed, it goes. At any point in the corner, extra, it goes. I feel like I can be leirier and ride this bike maybe better than the FXE, even with this 21-inch front wheel. And I've always been sort of, you know, a fan of supermotos and stick to 17s. The 21 is for off-road, and it's great at that. And I have taken this bike greenlaning in 2 videos on my channel. One in a rainstorm, one not. And it's like cheating. It's different to my petrol DR, yes. But when you lose something with that, you gain something with the electric. It's not all lost when you get away from petrol, unless that's your opinion, and we can't change that. And I'm not trying to, and I'm also want to make it clear here, I'm not trying to make you go and buy an electric. Don't, if you don't want one. That's not my place. It's not what I'm trying to do. I don't try and sell bikes. I try to give my experience of them. And if people have got the money to do it and like the sound of that experience, they may then do it. But I don't benefit from that directly. I just get to ride the bikes. I wish I benefited from it directly, because as it turns out, I sold a couple of Eva Rebellis. And to those people, I hope you're enjoying your Eva Rebelli. Jesus, my God. A clear road? What could be better? See, one of the things about not having gears in the clutch, because you don't have any of that in the way, you just think about the corner. You look at the line, you feel the grip, apply as much throttle or as little as you need. You can use the brakes without feeling like they're going to lock up at any point, and then just gun it. It's easy. It's, you know, you don't need nearly the amount of skill to go quickly on one of these as you do on a petrol. Now, of course, these things are not completely unique to this bike. All electrics are like this, but the ease of use of this bike for just getting around town, you know, just jumping straight on it, not worrying about warming it up or anything like that. Just get on the bike and go. Being able to plug it in the garage, because this charge is using a 3-pin plug, where I've been using the slow charging, so it's up to about 9 or 10 hours to charge it. The quick charge does it quite a lot faster than that, but for me, it's been fine. And yeah, waking up every single morning with a full charge, not needing to go to a petrol station or anything like that, it's fantastic. And of course, let's not forget the cost of petrol right now. £2.2 a litre I was paying for E5, because that's what my bikes prefer. Just look at it. It's just silly. You just play around with it. You feel more like you're riding a BMX. It's just all that weight is low enough down that you don't feel it. I mean, it's a 130 kilo bike. It's not entirely light. I mean, the one behind me, let's show you these brakes. From 40. I've made many videos on this bike, testing all sorts of different aspects, and you can see me out having huge amounts of fun on this thing. But I mean, just I am grinning like a child. Gonna see if I've got my breakpoint judgments better. Almost. As I've said before, that is one of the things you have to get used to, is the fact that you're not coming down through the gears, you're just on the brakes. Oh man, this thing is fun. Like, I get it, for most people watching this, you'll be like, it's 13 grand, Spicy. I couldn't even consider that. That's not a toy. That's a luxury expense. And yeah, okay, it is. Look at it that way. But as I've said, there are plenty of people out there who can afford these. They will sell them, so people will buy them. And they'll get to have this much fun, presumably, if they're like me. I'm gutted that this is going back. There is a pigeon having a bath in the Ford. If we go round, maybe we won't disturb him, and we will be able to view the pigeon from above. See, nature. Ah, we just missed him. Now, how close would I have got on a petrol bike? So I'm not going to try and argue this bike as some sort of logical replacement for a commuter or anything like that. It is what it is. It is a 13 grand electric dirt bike with a, let's just say, a 60 mile average range with normal riding conditions, 60 miles. And it is amazing. I love it so much. And as I said in my recent video talking about the FXS versus the FXE and the FX itself, I actually think that if I was given the option, if Zero said to me, Spicy, here you go, man, choose one of these from the FX, the FXE and the FXS, I'd choose the FX, even with the 21-inch front wheel. You know, there's a lot of people that say that a bike like this is completely rubbish, and it will have nothing to do with the performance or the ability of the machine. It will be completely down to the price and their inability to pay for it. And I can't afford it either, so I'm not being some elitist there and going, on, just get richer, poor person. I earn around minimum wage a year, doing this. This bike costs around the same mark. I couldn't afford this bike. As I say, the biggest shame of all this is the more people don't get the opportunity to just try one of these bikes out, or an electric. Props to English Electric. They do demo days where you can go out and just try one. There isn't a huge pressure that, well, I hope you're going to buy it, sort of thing. From my understanding, they want people to experience electric. For their own good, they need people to get to experience it, because before people experience things, they make a lot of assumptions and they blah, blah, blah. This is how these arguments come around, a lot of them. And then you get on one and it's like, wow, that's great. Different for all people, of course, but I implore you, even if you hate electrics, just go and try one of the demo days. You're not going to get infected by the electric. It's not like the government's going to go, you're on electric, you can't have petrol anymore. I think that pretty much covers all that I wish to cover. It's amazing fun. It is all the other things that I've already said, but ultimately it's just a bloody good laugh. And I'm going to be really sad when it goes back in just a couple of days' time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it interesting or useful, smash that like button. Big thanks to English Electric Motors Co, as I say, for lending me the bikes. And also a huge thanks to my patrons who make this channel possible in the first place by supporting it for as little as $1 a month. I say $1 because that's the way it's shown, but it's actually around £1 and you get charged in pounds, and people, I didn't realise this, people were like, but I can't pay in dollars. You're not paying $1, you're paying £1. But yeah, that is how this channel is possible. That is how I do this as a full-time job and give honest videos like this. Obviously, without question, it is risky for me to talk about like the cipher system that Zero's come up with and show my disapproval of it in a video where a company has lent me a Zero. I have done this with other bikes in the past, or at least been critical of them, and it would seem that I can't ride those bikes anymore. And I wasn't very critical of them, it seemed rather mildly critical. And that's why my patron's there, because if you are completely honest about things, if you do give fair reviews, you find yourself not doing them anymore. It's a real shame. I want to try and change the industry. I want to change the way things are done, that people don't, metaphorically suck off these companies. They just give an honest review to the people, abide by all the Advertising Standards Agency rules, and just be honest with people. That's what I've always wanted, and that's what Patreon allows me to do. So if you want to get on board, see videos early, help me with all that, please do. Links in the description. I will most likely have a video or two on this bike before it goes back, because I'm going to be riding it, because I have it for a couple more days and I wanted to get the review done and dusted out of the way, and then I might have some more fun on it. And then after that I've got a couple of days to rest, and then I've got 2 petrol bikes coming of a similar style, which you are all going to love. Oh no, watch out! Until the next one, bye bye. Whee! Hey everybody, that's what I love about electrics. Hey, go! Wee-hoo! It's like being boinged by a rubber band. You know, you've got instant pull, but it just sort of goes... launches. You feel like you've been launched. So yes, I'm on the Zero FX that I've still got on loan from English Electric. This is just one of my random ones. I've just been off the island to get some prawns. Believe it or not, living on an island surrounded by the sea, I can't buy fresh fish there. Oh, a correction to something I recently said, and I knew it was going to come back to bite me in the butt when I said it. I said there are no manual electric bikes. And what I really mean by it is I've none I've ever heard of that seem to be relevant in today's world. However, I was wrong, there is one. It's a Hawin or something, I can't remember. It's a little 125 equivalent with a 5-speed manual transmission. And as it turns out, there is a company not that far from me that sell them, and I'm going to go to them soon. And well, after I've got through the next couple of review bikes, I'm going to go to them and see if I can borrow one. Because I want to ride an electric with a gearbox. I want to just experience what that is like, because it's going to be weird. I believe it was done for extra top speed, because it hasn't got the RPMs, but it has got torque. And that's the thing, I mean, does a motorcycle electric, need a gearbox or not? The idea of a gearbox generally, if you think about it, is when your car's at its fastest, you're in top gear and your engine's almost one for one-ing. Like, the rotations to axle rotations, wheel rotations is getting close to being 1 for 1, I think, right? But obviously to get torque out of the engine, you have to have a gearbox so you can step that down. With an electric, it has mostly torque, and it can also go super fast in the RPMs, but then it's going to need to be a bit more expensive motor to do that. So maybe they've got a cheaper motor which has got good torque but can't do the same RPMs, and that's why they put a gearbox on it. Or maybe it's just for people who are like, oh, I need a gearbox. I mean, it's so weird, the idea of having a clutch and a gearbox on an electric. But then at the same time, it shouldn't be. I don't think it will will it become a normality? That's a real question. Will electrics, over time, to try and make people adopt them easier, will they go to manuals? But then if efficiency is the thing we're after, there is no point doing that, because you lose efficiency. When you start to understand physics, it's quite interesting, because you can start to ask questions like, well, where is the power from the batteries in this bike going? Is it all going to the motor? Is it all going to drive me down the road? No, it's not. Because you can hear it. Sound, that's energy. That sound has been created by the electricity in the battery. There is, energy loss there. You have heat loss. That's one of the big ones. Heat loss is an absolute nightmare. And obviously if you do anything other than directly connect the wheel to the motor, you're going to have losses there too. That's why hub motors are a thing. They don't have huge torque, but they can spin up eventually to give you the speed. On this, you've got the motor and a pulley, and then a belt, and then a giant pulley on the rear. Each of those connections through the system between the motor turning and the wheel turning is lost in efficiency and energy. So putting a gearbox and a clutch in the middle of it is just horrendous when it comes to efficiencies, I would have said. And I'd say this is off my, what you call, back of a napkin calculations in my head. I have taught myself an awful lot about these sorts of things, so I can kind of make some fairly good guesses, I think. So as much as I know people will be like, oh, I'd be more interested in electric with a manual gearbox in it, I don't think you're going to see it, unless it's going to be for a novelty. Is that a double-decker bike? Yeah, it's one of the old double-deckers. I remember when they ran on I'm sure I remember when we had open-top double-deckers on the island in the past. Oh, whoops. Yeah, this will do that if you're not careful. Oh yeah, I'll show you this. We are on a random video. I'm allowed to talk about a million different things at once that aren't connected. That is the law. The skate park here, which you may be aware of from me passing it in videos and also from racing a remote control car around it. they raised about 200 grand and they're rebuilding it as a big like concrete, you know, like looking like a pool and stuff like that with bowls and half pipes. Jesus, can't even think. You know, the sort of more modern layout of a skate park. Should be quite cool for the kids, give them something to do. Nothing like that around when I... Well, actually, we did. We had a mud track that you could ride a BMX around or something, but it wasn't that great. That's why I kind of spent my time looking at the wildlife. If you're a kid growing up here and you're not like a nerd that's interested in, you know, sea life and wildlife and the bugs and stuff that are in the bushes and learning about other random stuff, you could get quite bored here. I mean, you can play in the sea, sure, but there is only so much you can do with that. And you don't really want to do that these days because it's full of poo. Oh, the amount of human excrement in that sea is just... It's just... Well, the thing is, I can show you. This really is going random, but this is brilliant. Okay, so... They've been dumping sewage in the sea here for a long time, and they say it's only when it's raining, but it's not, as it's been proven. And we're talking a lot, okay? By law, they have to, I think, tell people about the fact that there is sewage going on here, and the way they've done that is with this. You know, this looks like a nice holiday thing, you know, sea and sun, and then what it actually says is, welcome to Hailing Island Seafront, water quality. After heavy rainfall, check the sea is safe for swimming. Up-to-date information about release of stormwater and or waste can be found on the Southern Water Beach Boy app. It's basically, there is an app, there is a water testing buoy that they put out there, so I hope we can trust their figures, right? Whatever, that was independent, that tells you the level of particulates of human excrement in the sea. The reason this is a problem is because of E. coli and stuff. You can get very sick. Yeah, and they've warned people with that little notice, which is, it's not like they made it to just blend in with the off-peak parking for just 60p. It literally is telling you there is human shit in the sea, and they've done it like that. And the funny thing about this is, you may have seen a recent video that went viral across TikTok and stuff of it's filmed from a balcony on some hotel in somewhere in the world, and they are dumping brown stuff into the sea. Now, they're proclaiming it to be poop, and I assume it is. I don't know for sure. It could be rainwater, like muddy rainwater for all I know. However, people have gone mad about that, going, oh my god, look, it's disgusting how they're putting poo in the sea. The UK has been doing it for a very long time, and they're also doing it into rivers. Our rivers and our seas are mostly full of our crap. Literally. Not just the plastic crap that we leave there, but the actual crap, the physical turds, the brown sharks. And for that reason, even though I live here next to the sea, I haven't been in it for a few years because it's just disgusting in the thought. And they're sort of going, oh, you know, it's only, this is where we're starting with this, it's only a little bit of poo, it's only a little bit of poo. Imagine someone brings your plate of food over to you in a restaurant, and then you're like, what's that brown stuff on the side of the plate? The tiny little speck, and he's like, oh, that's some poo. And you're like, what? That's shit on my plate. Yeah, yes, but it's only a little bit. Oh, okay, then that's fine. No. The acceptable level of crap in the sea is 0. Now, this has been going on years, but some say it's completely down to us leaving a certain union. Let's not get into that argument, but apparently they can't get the chemicals to treat it, and that is the problem as to why they're dumping it in the sea, but that wouldn't explain why they were doing it when I was younger. And have been doing it historically for years and years and years, and they've been fined many, many times for it. Yes, they do get fined for doing this, but it's cheaper than actually upgrading the system to the point that it can actually cope with that much turds. It's because when it gets heavy rain, it mixes in with the sewage, and then there's just too much for the system to cope with, and they have to basically just dump it in the sea. But it seems like they're using dumping it in the sea as a not a last resort, but as a, no, just do that, it's easier. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, whatever it was, please hit that like button. I'm going to enjoy a nice barbecue with Reno this evening, and chill out tomorrow and get to recording the review and a couple more videos on this before it goes back. And then in a few days after that, I've got 2 more petrol bikes coming. So as I say, thank you for watching. Help support this channel through Patreon, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, I am still riding the Zero FX that I've got on loan from English Electric. They lent me this to do some videos and a review on. This is actually probably my last ride before I film my review tomorrow. And then I only have a day or 2 left and I'll have to go back, and I'm going to be quite sad about that because I've been loving riding this thing. Anyway, talking of electric bikes, what have electric bikes and old shoes got in common? Neither of them have got a soul. I'm joking, it's a terrible joke. But motorcycles, do they have souls? And if so, do those souls run on petrol? Okay, so let me just explain. Linus Tech Tips made a video the other day talking about electric motorcycles and his experience with them. Because he rides a bike, it's an SV650, and he said he considered buying a Zero. He'd actually gone into the dealership to buy one and then took it for a short test ride and basically said, oh, it felt soulless to me. And I left a comment on this that just basically said, I think you should probably give it a little bit more time, but it's totally true. It depends on the type of road you're using the bike on as to whether it would feel good or not. If you're just going in a straight line, okay, I can get how the sudden comparison of, no engine noise and anything like that can make it feel soulless. Don't worry, this isn't just about electrics. I'm explaining how we got to this. This comment of mine's got quite a lot of likes and quite a few replies, and someone said in the replies, like, I don't drive or have a bike or something, but what do you mean by having a soul? And I was thinking, okay, that's a good question really. What do people mean by a motorcycle having a soul? Do they think that it is a spiritual being in the sense of, the religious sides would believe that humans have souls, our inner energy, as it were, that is the true us, inside the husk, which is the body. That is the idea of a soul, right? I think that's probably about right. Can a motorcycle have a soul? In that context, most people would probably say no. And I'd say to them, well, can ants have souls? Because it seems like humans have the monopoly on souls. But anyway, so what do we mean by that? Well, by having a soul, I guess they mean having a character. Do you build a relationship with a bike? Do you feel like, it's speaking back to you? Now, if you've never ridden a bike, you might be like, what the hell are you talking about? I have never used my kettle and felt like it's going, yes, let's make that tea together. Let's go on, heat it right up. I can understand that. Also, for some reason, I think this kettle was in a small flat in the 70s, and someone's just come around to do the plumbing. So I think what we mean by a machine, a bike, having a soul is, as I say, you have a relationship. It's like Derek. Derek and I, we didn't really have that sort of a relationship to start with, It was, I just loved the bike and it was great. But then the more it went wrong and the more I worked on it, the more it now kind of feels like I have a relationship with that bike. When things stop working on it, it feels like it's speaking to me. You haven't ridden me for a while. I hate you. Now this is broken. Oh, you fixed the problem? Guess what? Wrong problem. Well, that's kind of like the long-term unhappy marriage relationship with a bike that you get. The soul part is more the way that it talks to you as you ride. Some bikes, for instance, the easiest way to explain this is that some bikes like 600cc inline fours, they scream as you rev them, and it sounds better and better and better, and the bike just seems happier and more free for flowing and just doing what it's supposed to do as it screams its way through each gear. So by riding that sort of bike, you might feel like the bike's trying to make you go faster. Other types of bikes, like supermotos, to me, and to most people that ride them, it brings out the child in you. It's like you're on a BMX again, and you're just, you're just jumping over anything. Oh, can I go through there? Can I go down there? Like, you see a big cliff thing. Can I ride it down there? Can I do this? Can I do that? And because it's light and it's agile and it just, well, the expression hooligan does come into it because people can be pretty antisocial and pretty silly with their riding with supermotos at times. Time and place and all of that. But still, just the lariness of the thing, it's something about riding them that just brings fun into it, but also mischievousness. And that is my experience of supermotos. They don't make you want to go fast because they just can't. They run out of, they have lots and lots of balls, but not much to back it up. But obviously now we have to just be honest about this. That interpretation of a bike having a soul is an entirely human-made thing that's been applied to it. I feel that way about my bike, maybe because I'm predisposed to feel like that's what I should do. I mean, okay, the engine noise and that with like, a 600, that totally makes sense because you can. It's an audio response. But when you're just going in a straight line now on this electric versus the petrol, people would say this would be soulless because there's no talking back to you. There's no response. There's no noise. There's no sense of occasion. There's no look at me. Although this is the most look at me bike that you'll ever see, but you won't hear. Well, you will hear actually. As a subscriber said to me a little while ago, he heard me going past the FXE and was like, Jesus Christ, I had no idea that electrics were that loud, because I'd obviously got on it a little bit, and he said I could hear it from a long way away. It was mad. That's the thing, I never get to see that, or hear that, should we say, because I'm always the one on it. Also, as I've previously said, and it kind of goes into what I was saying about Derek earlier on, character can also be things that aren't good with a bike. If a bike is very, very, very good at its job, it can be clinical. You know, just straight down the line does the job, but just doesn't really speak back to you much. Yet bikes with faults seem to have a character, and I've always said that the character of a bike is in its faults. So if you have a perfect machine for doing a job, it will have no character, in my eye. But now we have to be honest and say, right, well, all these anthropomorphized, I think that's the right word here, feelings and emotions that we've applied to these bikes and think we're getting back from it, is completely in our heads. And it has an entirely different meaning to each individual person with each individual bike, and whether it's electric or petrol is completely irrelevant to that. Yes, of course, without the vibrations, without the noise, the bike isn't talking to you. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's just there like a numb seat just rolling along. But in my experience, I'd say this: right now, in this sort of conditions, this slow riding around, I don't care if the bike's not making a load of noise. I don't necessarily want people to look at me. I'm just getting A to B. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the experience beyond the bike. But the more that I rode this bike, the more I started to feel like it was talking back to me. The whizzy noises. It wants to make the whizzy noises. We both want it to make the whizzy noises. It sounds great. It's not quite as amazing sounding as the Energica Eva Rebelli RS, which is that electric motorcycle with straight cut gears that sounds like a cross between a pod racer and a supercharger. It's nuts. It's amazing, it sounds great. This isn't quite that, and at slow speeds now, as you can tell because of my sound suppressing mic, it's quite quiet. There is a bit of a hum most of the time, and if you're actually really, really slow like this, the bike actually has a speaker on it and it goes the whole time. It just sounds like your brake pads are rubbing, if I'm completely honest, and I don't know who the hell would hear that, but hey, it's there. I mean, it would probably be better if I had a little speaker on it. It was just going, watch out dingus, mind your puxel. I don't know why I'm making that reference, but it seems to fit. See, as I say, the whizziness talks to you, it wants to do that, the lariness of it makes you just have fun with it, and you just want to try doing silly things like riding through sand. It's a shame the Devil's Punch Bowl where all the sand is so far away, because this bike would be great fun there, but I never get to it. So the whole thing of do electric motorcycles have souls, I don't think is even a thing. I think it depends on you and the bike. Yes, you're probably more likely to feel like you can't build a relationship with it at first, because it's giving you so little back. At first, you're not used to it. Like, it's being subtle, it's giving you body language maybe. Little hints. It's not just... So many things that would have got my channel demonetized came into my head. Let's just say it's not offering itself on a plate to you. It's just an interesting subject to think about, because I think, people are similar in a lot of ways, and what maybe switches the switches for you on a motorcycle may not be what you think it is. You may be thinking it's the one thing, but it may be another thing entirely. But it's interesting, by riding lots and lots of different machines, and removing different variables, by different types of bikes with and without certain features, I've come to realise that it's just basically about how much fun you have on the bike. Does it suit your style? Does it do what you do? Oh, there, but then again, no, I'm not really a cruiser person as such, but I did absolutely love riding the Triumph Rocket. It was very eventful. I wouldn't want to have it for a long time, but I loved riding it. I'm a bit of a slut when it comes to bikes. I think I just enjoy everything I can get my hands on. And for me, that feels like a win, because it means it doesn't matter if I'm on a $2,000 Chinese 125 or an electric scooter or a 10 grand Suzuki 1000cc or a £35,000 electric superbike. I can have as much fun with any of them. As you can tell, I've pondered over all of this a lot, and whenever I have loan bikes, sure, I make videos on them, but I also ride them a lot just to experience them, to spend time on them in my own head, in my own time, riding freely and just seeing how I get along with them. And I do often find myself thinking about the sort of philosophical side of motorcycles, because it actually does answer questions as to, like, you know, what's good and bad in a motorcycle, what people will and won't want. Of course, as I say, this is entirely opinion based. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying that anyone else is wrong, because we all experience bikes in a unique perspective. So what I ask is, you know, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and in the comments, leave your perspective on this. Have you ever considered what makes a bike have a soul, or what bike talked to you the most? I'm sure it's good, you know, if you think back through your bike history, the one that really sticks to you is the one that used to go wrong all the time, but you still loved. For some people, it's your first bike, and you can have an absolute, like, first bike love, because this thing is your portal to freedom. And the idea of it getting hurt or damaged is horrible, because you think it can never be replaced. But it can. It can always be replaced. You know, if you have a crash on your pride and joy, it sucks, but you can get it replaced. You can move on. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Leave those comments below. As I say, smash that like button. And if you want to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon. Oh, also, we finally have the 100,000 subscriber t-shirts that were delayed. Yeah, they're available, links in the description. If you grab one of those, thank you very much for supporting my channel by doing so and helping me celebrate hitting that milestone after all this time.